Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm gonna cover 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 3, Season 2, Episode 5. So let's jump into it. So I want to start off with the couples with the more juicier storylines to the couples with the least juicier storylines. So the couple that got me arguing at the screen the most was Ricky and Melissa / Jimena. So I see the type of person Ricky is. It was clear to me that he liked Melissa not for her personality or not for how good she is a person and she can be, you know, a good stepmom to his kid or a good wife. He liked her based on her body. And don't get me wrong, looks matter. Being attracted to someone's looks do matter. But the problem is, Ricky was being very, very superficial. Ricky was being so superficial that he was overlooking all of the problems that him and Melissa have. You sent her money, which is not the best thing to do. She's not communicating with you for someone who he was going to propose to and stuff. All Melissa was planning on doing was using Ricky for the money, and that's it. Melissa was never planning on meeting Ricky, and I think Ricky came to terms with it in this episode. But what I didn't like that he did is he's talking to another girl, and I don't mind. You're talking to other people online, and fine. Even though if you're talking to kind of the love of your life, I don't know why you're talking to other girls, but he's talking to this other girl, and her name is Jimena. She is beautiful. She looks very down to earth, very nice. She's not necessarily va-va-voom like Melissa, but she's a very pretty girl. And it kind of goes to show the type of girl Ricky is interested in, and for the wrong reasons. So then he's talking with Jimena and asking, like, and telling her that, like, hey, I'm in Colombia, acting like, you know, like I happen to be in Colombia, and like asking her if she wants to meet up. Well, she lives in a town that's 5 hours away. She barely knows this guy, and she was like, you know what? Yeah, I'll meet up. And not only is she meeting up with him, she's going to be spending, I guess, time together with him, which I wouldn't recommend her do that, but whatever. It's her thing. So, and she texts him back right away and stays in communication. Those type of things are stuff that you look for in a relationship in the initial stages. If I am talking to someone and then they don't text me for days at a time, like, I don't think you're interested. And she's making a bogus excuses about her university homework and stuff. Like, Ricky, she doesn't want you, and he's come to terms with that. So he meets up with Jimena. She shows up. She's as advertised in her picture. She looks very, very nice, and she likes what she sees. You know, everybody who every couple kind of, when they meet each other, they always have their comments like, oh, you look a little bit different than the picture, or oh, you're a little bit. She liked what she saw and stuff. I did not know Ricky was that short, because I'm taller than Ricky, but that's not the point. She liked what she saw. He did all these beautiful romantic things for her, which I think he's moving way too fast with that, but she loved everything. And to top it all off, she brought him gifts from her city to kind of show, like, what they do there. And this is what you're supposed to do when you actually like someone and you're excited to meet them. This is what I expected from Melissa. Well, I didn't really expect Melissa to be real, but if you're so in love with this person, I expected that to happen, and it didn't. So I was very, like, Ricky just came off this episode as a slime ball. Like, it just looked like it was kind of like, oh, she didn't work, okay, let's find a number two, and the number two she'll have to do type of thing. When she has it in her mind that he came here for her, and like she thinks that's such a big gesture when no, he came to see some hot young girl that he thought would want him, and she ended up ditching him, type of thing. So you're second best. I did not appreciate that. I do like the fact that Ricky wants to come clean to her, because I think that's what she deserves with everything that she's doing to be with him, to meet him, to get to know him. She needs to know the honest truth. And Ricky better pray that she forgives him and stuff, because Ricky was just grimy doing something like that. I swear to God, he better not try to propose to her or say he's in love with her. He needs to get to know her and stuff before he does that. As you can see, this couple had me going. I was yelling at the screen, calling Ricky a dog. Sorry, calling him out of his name for the crap he pulled. Whew. I'm glad I can express my feelings with that. So the next couple I'm going to talk about is Paul and Karini. So it seems like in the episodes, time is of the essence for everybody. Like, it's winding down for the days they will have to return back to their country. And Paul has a week before him and Karini are going to get married. And it doesn't seem like the relationship is going great right now. They're in a major rough patch. And I can understand why. At first I didn't understand, like, in the last episode they depicted Karini as this lazy girl who doesn't want to do anything. She's young and just wants to sleep and go on her phone, which I understand, and that can be part of her personality. But what they weren't showing was Paul. And apparently his raising his voice as he says it, but Karini says yelling and arguing. I didn't see any of that. I saw kind of bickering, but not to the point that I'd be like, Paul. I just thought they were just kind of bickering, not yelling and her crying and feeling crappy about herself. And this episode, they really showcased that this is not all Karini, this is Paul too. It's just that I don't know why we don't see that. We see her, I guess, the downside of her personality, but we don't see the downside of Paul. And it now makes me believe more in the charges that he had faced with the restraining order and stuff. If he's the type of person that can be very confrontational, I can understand why someone might want to do that. Before I was just like, Paul? Really, Paul? Criminal record? But now, hearing this, I can see it. And they can't communicate. They have problems communicating, and it seemed like from the time Paul got here to the time they get married, to the time they're going to get married, they haven't fixed those problems. So that's something that they should take time to work on. But due to the timeline, they're very pressured into getting married. And this is the first time that I think Karini is here for Paul. Usually with a couple, I'm just like, what are their motives? But Karini has a stable background. She has a loving mother and father. Yes, America's great for her, would be great for her, but she's also fine where she is. And I think that Paul really needs to put some effort into it. It can't all be Karini. And when they met up with her parents, she was like telling them all the stuff that Paul was doing to her and her crying and stuff. I would have been like, okay, you guys are not getting married. And I felt what Karini's mom felt. I just felt sadness. I felt like this shouldn't happen. They should wait. Like, why rush? Type of thing. So I'm very nervous for the relationship because they haven't solved their problems. They're just kind of gonna bury their problems for now, and they get married, and then like hopefully like we're gonna figure it out type of thing. I have to say the wedding dress scene got me a little teary-eyed, not because of Karini trying on a wedding dress, but like her mom crying and saying, honey, if you don't feel happy, come home to me, type of thing. Just seeing like a mother's love for her child. Like, She does not want her to get married, but she's gonna support her anyways, and I commend her for that. And the next episode we see a wedding with Karini, who knows. So let's get into the next problematic couple, Angela and Michael. So Angela and Michael, I don't know what they talk about in the relationship or how they communicate when she was in America and he's in Nigeria, because there was, I guess, nothing about a different culture and culture differences discussed. I feel like Michael, I like his personality. He's very laid back and calm. He wants to be with Angela to get a better life and open up a business in America. But I think Michael is taking so much shit from Angela. And Angela is just meh, 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 to him. Like, it's just kind of like, Angela, calm down. And I feel like Michael is always just like, I'm sorry, how can I make this better? What can I do? And then Angela's like, well, that's who I am and I'm not changing it, type of thing. It seems like with Angela, there's no type of compromise. When they're in the hotel room and they're getting ready to meet Michael's friends, Angela's wearing something that is a little bit revealing because she has a bigger cleavage. Well, she asks Michael, like, hey, is this too much? So he says, yeah, do you mind covering up the cleavage? I felt like Angela was just like, oh my god, if I had known, blah, blah, blah. You're in a different country where it's not custom to show off a lot of cleavage. Then cover up. When you go back to America where you hope to live your life with Michael, then you can show off all the titties you want to show off. But like right now, for 2 weeks, can you just comply with their cultural differences? Like, I don't understand why it's just like, well, I'm gonna do me no matter where I am, type of thing. When in Rome, like Angela. Anyways, so Michael once again is, I'm sorry, blah blah, let me do your hair. Okay, Angela, your hair is fried. That blonde, you bleach your hair so much that your hair, it looks brittle and dry. It's fried. And that straightener needs to be turned on high because Michael was going through it and he was not straightening her hair properly, but like whatever. He was kind of going through her hair, but like it was still very straight. It wasn't very straight or flat. It just looked really puffy. And I can understand the humidity, but you gotta put some like product in there to keep it down. And it looked like she just went like this and then just like, okay, let's go. So they go to meet his friends, and his friends seem very respectful. And Angela I feel like she doesn't know how to conduct herself in like public places. How can you be asking his friends, oh, so how much girls does he have? What was his last girlfriend like? Like, Angela, calm down. Like, it's very inappropriate to ask his friends. Plus, his friends are going to always be biased towards him. So you can ask his friends anything, and they're going to put him in a good spotlight. I felt like it was just uncalled for, the way that Angela was conducting herself and acting, and Michael is trying so hard, but Angela, I feel like, is like, even when they went to the wildlife place, and he's like saying like, maybe you need to calm down in the way you snap, and she's like, well, maybe you need to figure out why I'm snapping at you, and blah blah blah. Like, Angela, this is like your problem. If you don't like the way someone's doing something, it's just like you go off on them, type of thing, and you're not coming off as considerate or sympathetic or have some empathy or anything. It's just kind of like my way or the highway. And you have to know that the way that this man has been growing up all his life, for 30 years of his life, he is known the man to be the head of the household. This is something he probably sees in his family, something he sees in his community, something he sees in his culture. So please forgive him if sometimes the way he might ask something or approach something, it's just something that he's grown up with. Don't be snappy and snippy with him. And for that, like, Angela, it's just like, I think Michael is not it for you. I don't think it's gonna work. So I am done with that couple. The next couple I'm gonna discuss is Tariq and Hazel. So there wasn't much with them, but there's still no connection. There's still no even even like a platonic friendship connection. There's definitely no sexual tension. So I'm just like, why are you guys together again? There was a part in the show where Tariq was like, she wants to be with me, something like she wants to be with me because she loves me, and we know for a fact that Hazel's with him to get a better life in America and to send for her son and to provide a better life for her son. They're on two different pages, and I don't know how Tariq will find out, or is he gonna find out? Because the stuff that Hazel has said in the confessions is very damaging to someone's relationship, where you kind of know their true intentions. It doesn't really, I don't think I've ever heard her say like, I love Tariq and stuff like that. So I'm just like, Tariq, you're gonna find out the hard way that Hazel's not really in it because she like loves you and you're the love of her life. So they're going to go and meet Tariq's brother Dean, I believe his name is. He's finally flown in from the Philippines. With Tariq, it's only been a day versus the other people's times. So he's just really gotten there. They haven't really done much. So Hazel's really nervous because she knows that Dean doesn't trust her, which I really wouldn't want to be meeting someone who I know doesn't like me or doesn't trust me before they even get to know me. So I can understand her being very apprehensive with meeting his brother. So she's kind of nervous and she's like, oh, I'm nervous. But then Tariq reassures her that, come on, we're gonna do this. So they go downstairs and they meet Dean. So it was nice pleasantries in the beginning, and then Dean just kind of no filter goes off, trying to find out more information from this ex that was in the picture or isn't in the picture. I'm not too sure. Her intentions, and I can understand like a brother being protective over his own, but he was coming off as rude, and it was just like she was kind of like quiet and like not answering, and he was just like, does she speak? Like, come on. She's very intimidated by you. I don't know if he's just oblivious and he can't see that, but I'm like, she's obviously super nervous, and you're coming off as like, I'm this like big and bad guy type of thing. And you're just kind of pummeling her with questions of just like, why can't she answer my question? Why is she taking so long to answer my question type of thing. Like, you're interrogating her like she committed a crime. When Dean did that, Hazel started crying. Hazel, and then Tariq is obviously comforting her and telling her, don't cry. And then Dean's like, you know what, I'm out, type of thing. And I'm like, well, there goes that relationship where she's never going to want to talk with him, and he's never going to trust her because he has all these suspicions about her. So Tariq and Hazel start walking off, and Tariq is like following Hazel and telling like, Hazel, honey, and she's just distraught because I can understand someone who's maybe a bit timid like her gets that type of treatment and kind of closes up, and she just wants to get away, so she just goes away. I also like to talk about, even though this is like a side note thing, what was Tariq wearing? Like, where you do that? Why are you wearing a tank top and a mesh shirt? That's not, I can't even say that's not how you wear it because I'm Jamaican. I'm familiar with the mesh shirt, but you never wear, a mesh shirt is something you wear just alone by itself. You don't need to be putting shirts, tank tops, marinas, anything under it. It looks weird. It just looked like, it was very bad. I just kept staring at it and going like, Tariq, why? It just looks terrible. Anyways, I don't think Tariq better not propose to Hazel, and I just don't think the relationship is going to work out, because I think once he sees these episodes air, you can see her intentions. Like, I don't even think she really cares about you. Like, she's just tolerating you. So that's it for this couple. So the next couple was John and Rachel. Yes. Their segment was kind of boring. It's her basically getting to know the real reasons why John got arrested, and to gauge whether he has an anger problem and if this is something that he's changed or not. She meets his friends, which I don't understand the setting they're in, because his friends are wearing suits, but Rachel and John aren't. And like Rachel is like sitting cross-legged at a place, which I just thought was weird and very kid-like. She starts asking questions and stuff. They could be a little bit better friends and talk about him in higher regards. It kind of threw him under the bus a little bit, but I liked his friends. His friends seemed really cool. They're different than the other friends we had seen before the 24 hours before Rachel came, but everyone has a bunch of friends. And they're talking about, I guess, where they grew up. Where they grew up was pretty rough, and you had to fight to kind of, I guess, stand your ground and things like that nature. So that's kind of all that happened. And then there's a scene where Rachel and John are by themselves talking, and I didn't appreciate the way that it looked really cold outside, and Lucy should have been dressed a little bit more warm, because at one point her jacket was open and stuff. Like, please dress that baby for the weather. They're talking, and she's saying like, okay, explain to me in detail, what were you arrested for? And he said assault, and then she's like, explain to me, I guess, your biggest fight, and he was assault with bodily harm. Something happened with the person's eye. Either way, he says he's changed and he's not that person anymore. And then John asks, like, do you trust me? And Rachel says he does. She does. So that's kind of all with that story. And they've been talking about his criminal record for the longest time, so they didn't really add anything to their story this episode. So last but not least, we're going to talk about people that I try to avoid the most, is Darcy and Jesse. Darcy and Jesse are not for each other. They can't have a decent conversation without fighting. And sometimes I think Jesse starts the fighting, and sometimes I think Darcy starts the fighting. But this time they took it to a next level, because they're fighting with her kids there, and her kids are obviously going to choose their mom's side. So you're already, I highly doubt if the kids like Jesse anymore, because you're making my mom mad. You're making my mom feel a type of way. So I don't understand how they can like sleep in the same bed or live with each other. I don't know. I'm done with that couple. So that recaps all the couples. Everyone's winding down. Everybody's like time is like almost done. So I don't know what happens. Do they show you the relationship when they're back in their countries? Like, I don't know what happens, but I'm excited to see. It's definitely very drama filled, and I really, really love that. So that is the end of my recap of 90 Day Fiance Before the 90 Days, Season 2, Episode 5. Forgive me if I got it wrong, I don't remember. But yeah, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.
I'm just a dumb cunt, fucking sick and tired of it. Maybe I could